So as I'm just going to start calling them the demonic left because they're just evil. I'm serious. Right up until midterms and there beyond. The evil left just keeps attacking Republicans, especially us ultra MAGA ones, right? Republican Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, you know him, right? Well, guess what? You know how they came after Matt last year, making up all kinds of lies and allegations about sex trafficking and drugs and parties, blah, 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 blah. And there was this huge investigation. Well, now prosecutors just on Friday, of course, to avoid the news cycle and bury it so nobody talks about it in the mainstream media, prosecutors have recommended against any charges on the congressman. They said it was due to credibility questions with two of their central witnesses. Gotcha. One was an ex-girlfriend and one was an ex-tax collector and former friend of the congressman. So you don't trust your witnesses, but for an entire year you defamed a man's reputation and name. Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's how they do it in the Biden and left regime. Now, before we bring Congressman Gaetz back on the program, just thought I'd show you a brief clip of an interview we did last November when we knew all the lamestream media was spreading lies about this whole thing. Watch. The mainstream media lied for months, targeting Congressman Matt Gaetz, accusing him of sex trafficking a bunch of minors. Now we know it was all a lie, just like the congressman said it was. November 30th of last year, here now with reaction to the news, the man at the center of yet another sham investigation, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. Matt, what was your first reaction there Friday, or did you already know this news was going to break?
My first reaction was how grateful I am to have had the chance to represent my constituents for the last 18 months while the media endlessly spread these lies about me that were continuously debunked as time went on. So I guess I wasn't surprised by the ultimate decision, but I am just, I think, a little more hardened against some of these media tactics that try to take some smear or some rumor and to try to fashion that into a disqualifier for being able to fight for people all over this country. I went through a primary election in August where, my opponents tried to do everything possible to hang this over me and to try to distort my service to the people of Northwest Florida. And I got 70% of the vote in that election. So I'm very grateful for the support I've gotten from my constituents. I'm very aware of the fact that this was a media operation. Remember, Project Veritas got CNN on camera saying that they knew they were propagandizing my life because I'm effective, and they were just going to try to run stories over and over again to hurt me.
Yeah, and for folks that don't understand or know what a news cycle is, so when a story breaks, folks, typically the mainstream media rides it out. They ride it and beat it like a dead horse for about 3 to 4 days. Then something else big happens, they let it go. If they don't want to discuss a story, they release it on Friday, hoping it will die by Monday. So obviously, if it's good news for anybody on the right, they dump it Friday, which is when your story broke, right?
Well, when the unsubstantiated rumors were spread about me, they were everywhere, aggregated to the moon, reposted like you would not believe. And now there's information out that seems to contradict that and is in keeping with what I've been telling the country for over a year and a half. And it doesn't seem that on MSNBC or CNN, they're near as eager to cover that. But you know what? The American people are smarter than the media thinks. The American people know the truth, and they see who's fighting for them. And the reason that's so important, Dan, is because it's likely Republicans are going to take control of the Congress. And we will have to choose whether to be a fighting party or to be a party that goes back to the way that things used to be, where we just blindly trusted these institutions and reauthorized their authorities and gave them immense power over the freedoms and liberties of our fellow Americans. So these are policy questions I've been very engaged in. For the last year and a half, I haven't been hiding under a rock. I've been out on speaking tours. I've been grateful to be a guest of your show a number of times. I had some of the most penetrating questions for people like Lloyd Austin when they weren't doing right by our troops, something I know you and I care about a great deal. So we gotta keep our foot on the gas. It's a very important time coming up for our country, and I intend to be very involved in pushing for the reforms that are absolutely necessary.
That's the final line of questioning here, Matt, I got to get to. We asked the president when he was on earlier about it as well, if he's reelected in 24, what he would do to clean up those institutions. You're in there right now. We see the IRS, the DOJ, and the FBI all being weaponized against, as Biden calls us, ultra MAGA, like we're the threat to democracy. Yeah, right. What will you be doing moving past the midterms, along with hopefully other America First folks in Congress, to try and put a stop to this, to clean up those organizations that once, I hope, were trusted by the American people? I mean, I used to look at the FBI and go, that'd be a cool job. The G-men, the men in black, like they're in the suits, they're out getting the bad guys. Now I'm like, corrupt, corrupt, corrupt. I never liked the IRS. But how are you going to help clean those up, Matt?
Well, first, we have to get rid of the FISA authorities that were used to target President Trump, the presidency, and the American people. There's also a serious policy proposal that my colleague Dan Bishop of North Carolina put forward to decentralize the FBI, where they were not part of the Washington infrastructure of political power in the media, but instead worked for the over 90 U.S. attorneys that are spread about the nation and representative of the communities and the places in which they serve. And then I think there's the whistleblower investigations. Right now, we've got so many whistleblowers who've come forward, but we don't have the subpoena power or the deposition power to be able to follow up on all their stories, to be able to verify some of the very scary things they're telling us about political bias. Sometimes that political bias manifests in terms of how the FBI does HR. Sometimes it manifests in terms of how they talk to people about former Trump. And sometimes it's even worse. It's affecting investigations. And that's what we've got to be able to decipher and showcase.
Yeah, we can't be having our institutions that, oh, by the way, we pay for investigating us for political reasons. This is ridiculous. This is not China or Russia. Matt Gaetz, representing Florida's first. So glad that we were all proven correct. And now no charges. Stop talking about it. Move on and get back to the work of the people, which you've been doing. I just wish we could get the left to get their head out of there. You know what? Matt, take care. God bless you.
Thank you, Dave. Looking forward to it.